Okay, good morning. It's my greatest honor to introduce today's speaker, one of our very distinguished alumni who got a bachelor and master degree from our department, and Jack Tang. Jack got his, after he got his degree here, he has been working for Verizon, and in his 26 years of career, he has been in many different kind of leadership position in Verizon. And right now, most impressively, he is in charge of, he's now the executive director for Verizon's Innovation Center, in charge of a very big program for creating the innovation program. So today it's our honor to invite Jack to come back to give us some talk about that program. So let's give him a big hand before his talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Huang. I love coming back here. I met my wife here 30 years ago, so I also attended many classes in this building, and it helped me start my career. So I'm always grateful for that. My son, we live in the Bay Area. He also turned down several UC admissions to come here. He's now a freshman over in Foster School of Business. So gold and purple run deep in our family. All right, so with that, let's get into the safe harbor statement. You probably don't understand this. It's very complicated. All right, there's 2 slides on this. This is written by our attorneys to protect you and me. Okay, I can summarize it for you. Basically, what it said is, I'm going to share some information with you today. Now, if you're going to use that information to invest financially, make financial investments, if you lose money, I'm not responsible. All right, now if you make money, I won't make any claims either, so that's fair. Okay, so invest at your own risk. So with that, since we are in the classroom, I want to start out with a quiz, and I have some pens out here. If you get the right answers, you can come down and grab a pen later, okay, to see how much you know about Verizon. So what year was it formed? Any guesses? 2000. You got a pen, my friend. Excellent. Oh, 2000. Here we go. Excellent. All right. Second one. It came from 2 words, combination of 2 words. What are they? If you know this one, you get 2 pens. All right. So let's see. Is Veritas Latin for certainty and reliability? The second is horizon. It's forward-looking and visionary. So combination is Verizon. All right, so don't say Verizon. This is Verizon. All right. Next question. We are a global leader in communications, wireless, broadband. I'll talk about some of that stuff later, cloud and IP. We are part of the Dow 30 companies. What is the ticker symbol? Oh, he's going to get all the pens now. VZ, correct. All right, very good. Now, Verizon actually owned 55% of Verizon Wireless last year. And the other company, Vodafone, owns 45%. A couple of months ago, we bought the entire thing. So Verizon paid a big amount of money to get total ownership. So how much money did Verizon pay to get the 45% stake? Any guesses? It's $130 billion. $130 billion for 45%. So Verizon Wireless is a crown jewel. Okay, just keep that in mind. How many employees does Verizon have? Any guesses? Can't be you again. It's 175,000. Well, you know, people move in and out constantly, but about 175,000. Okay, and headquarters is in New York. What about revenue? How much did we generate in revenue last year? Any guesses? 31 billion. You're all by a factor of 4. It's 120 billion. At least you get a pen for trying anyway. All right, so let's grab that. So that's just basic facts on that. Okay. Let me show you some companies on here. Campbell, Corning, Avaya, AMD, PetSmart, MasterCard, Hog, which is Harley Davidson, Agilent, Cablevision, Yahoo. How much money do you think they make annually for each one of these companies? approximately. One more pen for somebody trying. So it's between 5 to 8 billion. 5 to 8 billion. And our revenue is 120 billion. And we've been growing about 5 to 8% annually. What that means is every year, we're added an equivalent of one of these companies into our portfolio. And let me show you how that's done. All right, so let me start with the Files back in 2006. Now, Verizon is a telephone company in the East Coast. So we actually provide telephone services to residents and business. And you all know that it's a declining business. Telephone is a declining business. So how do you turn a declining business into a growth business? That's the first question. So back in 2006, we made the decision on Files. Files is running fiber optic all the way to your home. So with that, the industry analysts call it, you get triple play. So now you get high-speed internet access, which is right now, the top tier is 500 megabits per second to your home. That's 500 megabits per second. And then with that, you also get Files TV, that you can compete with the cable companies as well as the satellite companies like Dish or DirecTV. Right? And the telephone piece is bundled into it. It comes with it, so it's a package. That's why it's called a triple play. We started with that, but then that's only within the Verizon footprint. How do you expand outside? Right? It's very expensive to run cable outside your franchise, run fiber optics into your home. So for us, what we looked at was we looked at IPTV. So we purchased a company called Uplink, another company called Intel Media, and the name is OnQ, which is a over-the-top video play as long as you get broadband. So you see a lot of kids nowadays, you probably do that too, that you have, all you need is a broadband access. You do not need to subscribe to cable TV. You watch everything on the internet. That's one way of doing that. Right? We also bought a company called Edgecast for video distribution, because what you want to do is you want to put the video closer to the customer so the performance is much better. So with that, Files was really turned around a declining business. Now it's growing about 5% a year. So that was a telecom side. And the second business that we looked at was the acquisition of MCI to get a global reach, right? Because Verizon had been thought of as a domestic company, but we are beyond that. We want to go globally. So with MCI, we now have the global IP network, and we reached more than 150 countries around the world with more than 2,700 cities. All right. Now, that property allows you to compete in the enterprise space. With enterprise, today you know about security. That's a very important asset that you need to have. So we bought Cyber Trust as part of our portfolio. And if you see some of the ads on TV or read magazine, they talk about cloud computing, something that you can start organically and just take you a while to do this, or you can just acquire somebody else. So what we did was we bought CloudSwitch and Terramark. With Terramark, now we have about 50 plus data centers worldwide. All right. So let me talk about the wireless piece, which is the growth engine so far for us. Back in 2004, 2005, we had the 3G network, and it was growing. And we looked at the traffic. We know that the mobile internet is a real deal. This thing is going to mushroom. It's going to be big. So we know that we needed additional spectrum. We went out and auctioned for the 700 megahertz, the C block, to get the spectrum. And at that time, we know that we need to go to 4G, but then there's a debate on technology. What are you going to use for the 4G technology? And there were three competing technologies at that time. There was WiMAX. Professor Huang and I talked about that early on. There's also what they call UMB, started from Qualcomm, ultra mobile broadband. And the third technology is LTE. So we made the decision to go with LTE. At the time that we made the decision, there were a lot of questions, a lot of doubts of why we did that. people were saying we were too early, we're not going to have enough devices and traffic on the network that we build. What they did not realize was that we have a secret weapon, which is the innovation center. Our idea was to have a center that can create an ecosystem that will stimulate traffic on the LTE network. So we opened one in Waltham, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and subsequently, we opened a second one in San Francisco. And then we're also looking at connecting things, not just phones, right? We're looking at machines and so forth. And the first thing, the biggest device that we have out there today is a car, right? Connected car. So we bought Hughes Telematics, and now it's called Verizon Telematics. So with all those assets, organically grown as well as acquisition, now the company is growing about 5 to 8% annually. So this is a pretty good path, and now we need to figure out how to grow at the same pace going forward or even exceed that. All right, so I talked about the Innovation Center and the program. We have 2 locations, San Francisco and Waltham. And before we started this program, we actually interviewed quite a few companies because they all have labs and so forth. We also interview small companies, try to figure out what the concerns are. Say, well, what exactly are your concerns when we deal with companies like this? And the top 3 always float to the top. The first one is the legal process. The attorneys always get involved, and it's very complicated, all right? The non-disclosure agreement, the NDAs. And the second thing they said is the fees. Every time we get engaged with Cisco's of the world, Alcatel-Lucent, they always want to charge you something to get going. And the third, which is not the least, by the way, is the intellectual property rights, especially with small companies. They are very concerned that when they talk to these big companies, they have the good ideas, and after some iterations, the ideas are taken from them. So with that in mind, what we did was we said, okay, we'll make this what we call frictionless, make it very easy. I could sign an NDA within days. Within Verizon, if you go through a normal process, it still takes months, but with our program, it's days. A few days is over. The second thing is, we said there's not going to be any claims on your IP. Your IPs belong to you. We'll make it very clear from the get-go. We don't touch it at all. The third thing is no fees. We're going to do all these, okay? And the process starts with, once we agree on the paper and the format, paperwork and format, we actually assign a team of people to work with them to say, okay, how do you take your idea and make that into a product? And we also have currently about 300 companies in our ecosystem. We play matchmaker to say, if you need antenna modules, you need certain things, here are the companies that you can pick from and build your products. And we work with them to do that. And once we build a product, we actually take it through our labs. And our labs are a small version of our live network. So we actually test it with them to make sure it works properly. And if they need if they need help on this, we actually help them with go-to-market, the commercialization of the product. Again, we do all these things without any fees. All right, so rather than me talking about it, I'm going to play a video showing you what our engineers say about the program.
The Innovation Lab originated in 2010 for those companies that may have a great product and a great idea, but don't know exactly how to enable it wirelessly. The idea really was to give them a sandbox, give them an environment where they can develop their product or their application, validate it, test it, to bring them to market and harness the power of the network that we have.
Big Belly is a solar-powered trash can, and using machine-to-machine, M2M technology, we're able to wirelessly transmit how full it is to a central server. And we need reliable wireless services for our product to operate efficiently. Verizon stepped up to the plate.
But the small company, usually they have this great idea, but they don't have all the resources available.
So our job is to provide them a laboratory environment for their testing and their development to bring their ideas to market quicker.
One of the biggest strengths that the innovation program has is we provide a single point of contact, a program manager dedicated to your product.
Probably the speed bump was pieces of the design that dealt with the antennas.
We have on-site engineering to support and actually help you to troubleshooting those issues.
So we had to try a variety of solutions and locations for this internal antenna to try to maximize the performance.
And it's worked flawlessly ever since.
We have all these million-dollar tools to help our partners to improve their product.
Our antenna chamber can test any device for optimum connectivity before it goes live in our network.
Our RF shielded rooms guarantee a noise-free private test environment.
The Mobile Device Test Center performs over 200 RF certification tests that conform to industry and Verizon-specific standards. The automated test system is a pre-certification tool that ensures a device is safe for network.
Once the device passes this test, our partners can test up to 500 devices live on a network.
And finally, there's our live network test tool. Mirroring all Verizon networks, it allows our partners to experience all our newest network innovations before they're commercially available.
The key objectives of the certification testing are to evaluate their readiness for official certification.
The testing that is done here covers everything, basically. So we will make sure that you pass the final certification.
Certification is very costly.
And it's thousands of dollars an hour at a third-party lab to do that.
Whereas we are offering this for free.
So it will save them money and also save their time to get the product certified.
We do help small companies, but not only small companies, we help big companies. We work with the HP, one of those big names that wanted to work with us.
We certified with Verizon because it's large 4G LTE network, and there's only one company that we saw that had that level of coverage, reliability, and official certification process.
When they leave the lab, they have the confidence level that they will be successful. They won't spend the days and hours and spend so much money in the actual certification lab because they are already confident that they will pass.
And we're looking forward to repeat this success and have a full portfolio of Verizon certified products.
The innovation program at Verizon are enabling solutions that can revolutionize the industry, energize businesses, help consumers simplify their lives.
From the utility meters,
Home security system,
medical solution,
transportation, agriculture, the potential for the connection is unlimited.
We're enabling product makers, but we're also enabling Verizon to move it to that next level and be a solutions provider, a technology company, not just a network operator. If you've got an innovative idea, contact us. We're waiting.
All right, so innovation.verizon.com, go get more information on that. Big Belly Solar. I walked into the building and saw 3 of them outside the door. There are quite a few on campus. We are actually a big user of Big Belly Solar, so good to hear that. These are not actors or actresses, okay? They're real engineers and customers we work with. So if you go to the website, you're gonna see a lot of information. You can actually apply to be part of the program of the ecosystem. 2 locations, Waltham, San Francisco. The setup's similar. The difference is in Waltham, you look out to a parking lot. San Francisco, you look out to the bay with the Bay Bridge, beautiful view, $1 million view. Kelly Williams kind of worked with me to set up an alumni event in San Francisco. We had a great event down there. We spent most of our time on the lower floor there to look at the products. We didn't go to the labs. The labs is really on the upper floor, and let me show you. You hear some of that stuff on the video. The shielded room. Why shielded room? You know, with wireless, you're gonna need this because when you develop a product, it's gonna take many iterations. You don't want your product to be interfering with the live network outside, so it's really an isolation chamber that you can test this stuff in there. Here is the antenna chamber, moving things around to make sure that it works in all different directions, and the data, the workstations, and the network configuration location. All right, so let's take a look at the trends in the past, I'd say 20 years or so, right? In 1995, maybe some of you were, I know I was born before that, so we saw some of these CDs. I don't know whether you don't see them nowadays. AOL used to ship out CDs all over the place. I go home, open up a mailbox, there's a CD from AOL. You go to a drugstore, they got CDs over there. They got CDs in supermarkets all over the place. So what you do is you take the CD, put it into your computer, you get on the internet, sign on immediately, and it takes maybe 5 minutes to set it up. And now you have all these computers at home, not networking now with the internet. The browser is what makes the difference. It makes it a lot easier to interact with the computers. So if you fast forward a few years later, now with connecting computers, there's a lot of information out there for you to look at, but then you don't know where to go. So the search engine, quite a few back then, and Google still survives today and doing really well, was one of them. Web crawler, Alta Vista, and whatnot. All right, so many of them, and then Wiki is still around. So that's really the information explosion period at that time. A few more years, now rather than just text and images, you have video, right, to make it richer, more better experience for the users. And YouTube started around there by the time they were bought by Google, I believe the company was only 18 months old. Bought for $1.5 billion or something like that. People thought they were crazy to pay that kind of price for a company like that. Now, they are making a lot of money for Google on ads. All right. So a few more years, social. Everybody's on social network. You got Facebook, LinkedIn, Yelp, and so forth. So the question is, what's next? You got all these trends. What I did not show here also is the wireless trend. It was growing significantly in the last 20 years. But most of the growth is in the voice and mobility communications. The data network is about 2G, 3G speed, probably good enough, but not for bandwidth-intensive applications. So the next growth area that we're looking at is what we call IoT, Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, connecting things together. And I'm talking about machines, because if you look at for example, the US population, 300-something million people, you take away people who are below 5. Everybody basically has a phone, perhaps even 2 phones. Right? So the pie is basically fixed. How we grow is you take customers from AT&T, T-Mobile, a little bit, but the pie is not growing that fast. If you are looking at growing something else, there are things, let's go after animals is the next thing that we go after, right? You look at your pets. So dogs, cats, your turtles, hamsters, you can tag them. And I'm not talking about people who behave like animals. We got those guys already with ankle bracelet, right? Prisoners and stuff. We got all those taken care of. Now farm animals. Rather than branding the cows, the cattle, the sheep, you tag them, right? All this stuff is really wireless. The best way to do this is wireless. And you heard this on the security or alarm system. That's one of the fastest growing area for us is alarms. Because today, if you have an alarm system at home, it started with wireline, right? So if somebody breaks into your house, the system would call the call center, and they would dispatch a police to come out to the location. So the crooks are pretty smart. The first thing they do before they break into your house, they cut the wire. So they go into your house, and then the system cannot call out. That's why wireless is so popular, that if you have a wireless system, they cannot cut wireless. Right? So we see tremendous growth in that area. We are also looking at parking meters, parking space. We are looking at many, many different things. And you see that when you go to innovation.verizon.com, some of the products are shown here. You see quite a few what we call network access. It's hard to see with the laser point. Let me try this. The routers here, routers there, quite a few routers. It's not really a new concept, but the application is quite unique. If you look at some of these Greyhound buses, ski bus, that you take the people to go to the ski area, you see a sign that says Wi-Fi on board or Wi-Fi available. Chances are you have one of these in there. Okay, what it does is it provides Wi-Fi service for people on the bus, so you can keep yourself busy socializing or go on the social websites. And leaving the bus is 4G LTE to the network. Right, so it's quite popular. This is an area that nobody thought about. Now it's a growth area that people can go into. You also see Vigo. This is a, I guess, telepresence robot. You don't have to show up in class anymore. You can send one of these guys on your behalf, and you can interact with the professors. Actually, this is quite famous. Vigo made it to Iron Man 3 movie, and it's also a regular on Sci-Fi Channel if you watch Sci-Fi Channel. These are some of the products that we have right now in the pipeline for this year and next year. Liquid Image. Liquid Image is a competitor to GoPro. So you all know GoPro, right? It's quite popular. Camera that you mount on your helmet and you bike around, ski around. The difference with Liquid Image is that it will actually have a wireless connection that can stream what you record back to your network, to the server, and so forth. And then Sony PlayStation wireless connection. This is kind of interesting, a little, almost like a pin that you wear on your lapel. And as you walk around, interact every day, it will take pictures. It creates like a diary without you writing anything down for you. Okay, taking pictures and things like that. Sensors, I talk about helmet sensors, where you wear these things and you have the biometrics all being recorded and sent toward the network. Look at your the stats. Connected athlete, this is a big deal. We work with Reebok, Adidas, and Nike's not shown here, but we do work with them as well to say, for example, a helmet, football helmet. When you take a concussion, you can actually look at the statistics of how bad it is. Should I take this person out of the playing field, or should we leave them in, and things like that. But right now, it's not yet available, but we have the technology there. The difficulty is getting the doctors and the attorneys agree to what are the critical stats. When do you make the right decision? That's, that's not more of a legal issue rather than technology. Avigant, this is quite an interesting device. It looks like a Beat headset, except that this panel right here goes in front of your eyes, and you can actually watch a movie. Right? You can stream a movie into it. This is a good device when you go to a dentist, getting a root canal or something like that. This will ease the pain, make it more bearable. You can watch Friends or, Big Bang Theory, whatever it is right there. M2M Connect, this is a machine that we built internally. You saw that in the video. That will allow you to slap this thing on the vending machine, digital signage out there, anything that's outdoor, a rough environment. You stick this thing on, it becomes your connection to the network, right? Kimberly-Clark, this is almost like a no-brainer, right? In bathrooms, you got dispensers, soap dispensers, paper dispensers. They send a signal to let you know when it's running empty. You need to go replenish it, similar to, the approach that Big Belly took. And that's only one of the many companies we work with, as an example, right? Parking meter I talked about. Caterpillar. There are many machines out there in remote operation, doing mine operations. So rather than dispatching people out there to do things all the time, you actually have remote control machines. So we're working with Caterpillar on some of these. So I show some different signs up here. It's hard to see, but the one with shopping cart means it's available. When you go to the center, you see this. That means it's commercially available. The one with the calendar says it's coming in about a few months. And the one with a light bulb is basically saying it's visionary, it's coming, we are still working through it. So some of the connected athlete solutions are more of a visionary because of the legal issues that we are working through. All right. So on the slide I had earlier, we talked about powerful answers. I didn't want to touch on that, but I want to do that now, and I want to make sure that UWEE is going to participate in this. Okay. Back in 2013, we had a program called Powerful Answers, and we set aside $10 million to give away to people with innovative solutions to solve problems in healthcare, in education, and energy or sustainability. Let me give you an example of one that won. A company called Smart Vision Labs. MBA guy, he started this company. He built this apparatus that attaches to an iPhone. And with that apparatus and iPhone, he can actually point to your eyes and read your vision quite accurately. All right, so if he sees that it's minus 4.5, whatever it is, he'll have the glasses to give it to you on the spot. Now, he's not doing this to make money because he's targeting countries like Rwanda. Interesting fact, Rwanda has about 12 million people, and they have less than 30 optometrists. So there's a lot of people walking around seeing things blurry and did not even know. So he's here to help out. He's not going to make money on this, but we are proud to be part of that, to offer a solution to help humanity. All right, so in 2014, we have another category, which is transportation. All right, so there are 4 of them. The deadline for submission is June 30th, a couple of months away. And I want you to participate in this. Now, I know I'm from UW. I'm a little bit biased, but I can't be a judge either. They won't let me. We actually hired professional judges to do this. So they select them. In 2013, we had around 1,300 submissions. And out of those 1,300, 15 of them won prizes. The top prize is $1 million, and then you go to like 800,000 and so forth. So 15 out of 1,300 is not bad. Quite a few schools participate, and we like to see that in 2014. And the reason we are doing this is because we know that even though we're very smart people, people I work with are very smart, that we don't have all the answers. There's a lot of problems out there today, right? So we want to almost like crowdsourcing, if you will, for ideas. And again, at the end, if you have great ideas, something comes out of it, you own all the ideas, which is help you to facilitate a solution to solve problems in this space. All right, so with that, what I want to do is to play another video so you get to see what we're thinking within Verizon.
At Verizon, our innovation centers are filled with more than just some of the brightest people on the planet. They're also the most passionate, working tirelessly, sometimes even around the clock, fixing the unfixable, solving the impossible. Because we believe technology has the power to solve just about anything. And it's why we start every single day by asking one simple question: what do we want to build next? We've built the most advanced wireless and fiber optic networks, along with next-generation cloud and security platforms. We've tackled problems that have touched the lives of individual people to ones that benefited the entire planet. By partnering with other forward-thinking companies, we've created solutions for every industry: healthcare, education, sustainability, energy conservation, even homeland security. While we're proud of the work we've done, it's only just the beginning. Through the power of collaboration, we can accomplish so much more. The right partnerships can revolutionize industries and build a better future. To us, there's no greater goal, because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions. Verizon.
So that's basically my last slide, and I just want to say that we believe technology is going to help you become a better worker, if you will. It doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, doctor, farmer, or insurance salesperson, whatever it is, technology is a tool to make you more efficient. And we believe that we can play a part in that. I know that schools such as UW had a lot of brain power, right? And we love to hear your ideas, work together, and collaborate, and hopefully you can, together find the next Google, the next Apple, or something in that scale. All right, so with that, how much time do we have for questions, Professor Wang?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes for questions. Go ahead.
What's the probability of getting the award based on last year's submissions? How many submitted and how many were chosen and what categories and all that?
So the question is what's the probability of getting an award? How many were submitted, how many ideas were submitted, how many were chosen? Last year, the total submission was 1,300. And at the end of the day, there's 15 people that won. And the lowest tier was 250,000. The highest is 1 million. So this year, we don't know how many we're going to have. We're shooting for maybe around 2,000 submissions. And you have in the order of perhaps 4 categories. And now we're looking at perhaps 12 to 15 winners out of that as well. Okay. So it all depends on you, how good your idea is, how powerful it is, and we can help you work through it. And the judges, we hire professional judges. I just see the scores at the end. I have very little input on who's going to win. And the employees are not qualified to do this. So I was thinking maybe I can quit my job and come on and do this and compete, but no. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead.
So going back to your story about home security and just the growing evolution of different technologies.
Right.
How much is security emphasized in these new ventures, like cryptography or things like that, especially wireless technology?
Okay, so the question is going back to my stories about security. How much do we emphasize in terms of security going forward? And the example I gave was very basic for home alarm systems. It was very basic. Early on, I talked about security in the enterprise space, prevent hacking, DOS, attack, and things like that. That's very big, especially in the enterprise space. In the consumer space, right now we're looking at the alarms only, but it could be something else. See, I don't have all the solutions or answers. It could be something that's big, because years ago, alarm was not big. It was okay. People just hang a sign out there at the house thinking that's sufficient, and the crooks got smarter, right? They figure it out somehow, and now a sign is insufficient. You need to have something. So they started with landline wired solution, and they figured that one out too. So you always have to play, almost like arms race with them. So now you go with wireless, and I don't know what they're going to come up with next. Maybe we need something else beyond that. Right? So yeah, but security, now when I talk about enterprise, there are really 2 levels. One is domestic, and one is international. And given what happened in September 11, international issues are very critical, right? So certain data, you cannot even house it outside of this country and try to bring it back and forth. In fact, I was giving a talk in SKT, South Korea Telecom, and I shipped some of my pens and brochures over there, and by the time I left SKT, they still could not get a package because of security reason. They figure it's some, national treasure or something, it took a long time to clear customs. So finally, I left. A day later, they got the package. That's how complicated it is. So, there's different levels of security. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, I have some brochures about the innovation program that's left out there. And I also have some QR codes with a little card. If you want more information, go to that, all right? But the easiest route, really 2 sites that you need to go to. Innovation.verizon.com to look at all the program, what it's all about, and the products and whatnot. For the Powerful Answers competition, go to, I think it's powerfulanswersaward.com. All right, and June 30th is the deadline. You do not need to have all the details at that time. Submit some high-level ideas. There's multiple rounds. So you go in with some ideas. They go through the first round to see whether this is going to hold water or innovative. Then the next round, we go down almost like American Idol kind of process. So at the end, about 15 or so winners. All right, so we actually announced the winners in Las Vegas at CES 2014. So our concern is to make sure that these people who got the money don't go down to the tables, all right? Just go back and build a company, try to double it or something. It normally doesn't work. So but the next announcement, I don't think it's going to be in Vegas, but we'll announce it in 2015, January 2015. We are looking for some big venues to do this. If you go to the website, it will actually talk about all these different companies that I mentioned. And we truly believe that technology will make a difference in whatever you do. And you can hear that from the competitors, or the competition contestants. Professor Wang?
By the time when people submitted a proposal,
right,
in terms of percentage of realization or implementation, how much they need to finish? Or it's just a pure idea?
Very good question. So the question, I think you have the mic on, so I probably don't need to repeat it. You do not need to have a complete product at the end. You don't need to have that, okay? Obviously, it would help you if you do, right? But some of the winners have some ideas, have some product, but they have not rolled it out. So there are various stages, right? You can actually have a product you roll out already, or you can have some ideas, and you obviously have patents around them, and we can help you work and build them. But most of the winners will actually have product. There are a couple of them you can see on the web that have not completely built the thing. They're getting close. And some actually have a product that they are needing help to roll it out, such as the Smart Vision Labs solution. So various stages. Okay. So are you excited about competing in Powerful Answers? Come on. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's win the big prize. It would be an honor for me to see UWEE winning a big one. There's quite a few schools internationally also competing. So, okay, any other question? Go ahead.
In regards to the department you're in, it seems kind of unusual for a company to provide those types of free services. How do you continue to justify to Verizon, the parent company, to continue offering those services?
Very, very good question. So the question is, it's almost like this is charity work. Company our size, that we actually put resources into something like this, and we're not getting much out of this, which is not completely true, okay? Because what we do is we work with these companies, provide free services. At the end, we ask that the product will ride on our network, all right? But it's not a requirement. They don't have to. They say, okay, after working with us, they say, hey, I don't like some of the people I work with. I'd like to take the product to go to AT&T or whatever. We're fine with that. But through our history, nobody has done that. Okay? So we get some growth out of this because they ride on our network. And also, there's a clause in there that is not exclusive. We don't require that they just do this with us only. In fact, some of the companies that we work with started with us. And then they branch out. They went to our competitors and also sell the products over there. But because we're the first mover, we had much of a revenue base than they do. because of that. All right, so our thinking is really to drive innovation. This is not to make money. This is to figure out how to get more things onto the network, and that's how we're going to grow the pie for the industry. I talk about the people aspect, right? We're done with people. We're not growing fast enough, so you need to connect machines. But how do you do this? How do you stimulate or get innovative ideas to add more connections onto the network? I mean, that's really, it's innovation-driven rather than money-driven. And we're going to be doing this for a while. I'm there. And the team there, they're having a good time. This is kind of unique, like you said. There's 175,000 people in the company. A lot of people want to be part of the program. So I have like a dream job, if you will, having a lot of fun working with startups. And not just startups, also some big companies you saw in the video. Right. So, any other questions?
If no more questions, let's give Jack another big hand. Thank you very much.
Let's win powerful answers, okay? Let's go. Let's go get this. Gold and purple, purple and gold. Thank you.